people are always more important than process. So try to work your process with your people in their comfort mechanisms, the way they think, and guide outcomes with the people first instead of the process first. When you lose the people, you lose the mojo, and it's a whole lot harder to do, is where I would have gone on that one.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back, Championship Leadership Podcast. And we got Mark Baylis here with CEO and founder of Valor Clinic Foundation, and doing a lot of incredible things for veterans. And he himself, retired Green Beret. So had the opportunity to meet Mark on the set of a TV show with one of the original Shark Tank members, sharks from Shark Tank, Kevin Harrington, just maybe, I don't know, almost a month ago now, I guess. It's times flies. But yeah, glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I was glad there was another vet on the staff there. I was like, man,
I was gonna say, yeah, we hit it off pretty quick.
By myself.
yeah. So that was, we obviously had that in common and hit it off pretty well. So I'm excited to have you here today. I do like to start with this question, kind of an easy question for people, but championship leadership is the name of the podcast. So curious what comes to mind for you, or what does championship leadership mean when you hear that?
It means a lot of different things. I'm not I wish I was Mark Nooch. That guy led an amazing thing. He took the whole northern Afghanistan with a handful of guys.
Yeah,
that's championship leadership right there.
No,
and
no
then
kidding.
The horse soldier guys there. But out here for me, it's trying to build a team of volunteers motivated for a cause. And I kind of been using like a UW approach. Through by and with is what they say. And when you're doing unconventional warfare in the special forces version of unconventional warfare with guerrillas and things. And I've been kind of trying to rally people around the cause to help the struggling veterans, and so far so good. We started in 2012. We helped about 35 vets that year with a handful of volunteers, and by 2019, before COVID hit, we helped about 1,800 that year, and
Wow.
And we're in a series of cities, and had some tremendous people rallying for a cause, an idea bigger than themselves. And the general theme is that people don't want people to come home from the war and live under a bridge or want to hurt themselves. Mm-hmm. That's not what people want. And
right.
And people are willing to do what they can do to try to prevent that. And it's something to watch. So my role is more, it started out as a doer communicator, and now I'm more a communicator. Hey, here's the targets. Do you see a place you'd like to help? And it's fun to watch. They do a lot of great things.
Yeah. Well, how did this all come about for you? Obviously, it's something that you are, hits close to home for you, and that you're extremely, all in on, right? And
man, I don't have a lot of choice to be all in at this point.
Yeah.
I broke my back in Baghdad on a raid at QC's chief of staff's house, and tore my hand pretty good, and ended up getting out on a medical. And you would think that a retired sergeant major gets out with a little income and what have you, and somehow all my retirement paperwork got lost, and the VA hadn't finished deciding I was service connected yet, and so the VA is billing me for my health care. I have no income, and once I used up all my savings, it was a little lumpy. So I kind of by necessity had to learn how to navigate the system. And what I learned navigating the system, I started helping other vets, and it was over the course of a couple of years, word of mouth got out, and people started showing up at my door with homeless vets and all kinds of things, and I just couldn't turn my back on them. I mean, as an NCO, your job's mission and the troops. I didn't have a mission anymore, so I couldn't turn my back on the troops, and it's taken on a life of its own. We have 4 programs now. We have 205 acres basically here in Pennsylvania, but with a hotel and a series of houses we use as retreat lodges, and a fleet of vehicles that go out and take basic needs into the streets of local cities to help the homeless vets where they live, and it's become it's taken on a life of its own, and
Yeah.
I couldn't turn my back on it now if I wanted to.
Yeah. Did
I
you ever
don't
get
want
it?
to.
Did
So
you
here
ever,
we go.
yeah, yeah.
Here we are. Yeah.
Did you ever get that all straightened out for yourself eventually?
Yes, I did. I got it all straightened out for
Man, what a
myself.
mess.
And if I hadn't gotten it straightened out for myself, I darn sure wouldn't be in a position to do this, because I don't get paid to
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah.
And the people for the most part, the people I collaborate with, the executives, all the people on the board don't get paid. It's a fleet of volunteers. The house manager at the homeless shelter gets paid, and a pittance. She gets paid $3,000 a month to live in a homeless shelter and work basically 10 or 12 hours a day, every day of the week. So we're doing the right
Yeah.
thing when nobody's watching. GuideStar has been giving us platinum seals for years, which is puts us in their top half of 1% of charities in the country.
Okay.
It's pretty hard to get a platinum seal. Gold is awesome. We were getting those for a little while too, but those are top 10% of charities in the country, and top half a percent. I think the people are doing the right thing when nobody's
Yeah.
watching, and
Yeah.
and that's where we want to stay. So
Incredible.
yeah.
Yeah. What's the big vision for you guys, and what you're looking to accomplish?
It's to grow to have a specialty health clinics, and then populate them across the country. The plan is to run the flagpole up. Hey, this is what a Valor clinic is, which is a specialty health clinic with primary care providers, an orthopedic clinic, a women's health clinic, a behavioral health clinic that includes TBI and PTSD aspects, and a homeless shelter. The orthopedic clinic would have a robust physical therapy program, and then some satellite facilities: a homeless shelter, a PTSD retreat facility, a transitional housing facility, and ideally we'll get to the point where we have vocational training, and we have a strong partnership to do that now. But we're still looking for ground to do it on, the vocational training piece, and which is part of how I come to the TV show to meet you, is hoping to raise the cash to buy a bigger piece of land to put in some digital communications equipment installation, instruction capacity, to help people learn to put in cell phone towers and things like that, and 5G equipment. And so in a perfect world, the big demons are relationship collapse, long-term physical health problems, substance abuse, and chronic financial problems. So if we can, and those are the catalysts to suicide, and the same ones coincidentally seem to be the driving force to make veterans homeless. If we can do the relationship piece at the retreats, if we can do the long-term physical health problems, getting them up fishing and hunting and being active again,
Yeah.
and if we don't have the capacity currently, start work on the addiction problem. We've been doing VA claims, disability claim kind of filing to help with the financial problems. But if we can get full scope on all four, we believe that we can, integrating them together, we believe we can bring the suicide rate down for the vets we can reach, noticeably below the percentages in society. And the reason I say that is because our retreats alone, the graduates of our retreat, we have a couple, almost 300 through the retreats at this point. We've been doing it 10 years, and our suicide rate is still 0 after 10 years.
Wow.
And our homeless recidivism rate is only 5 after we're closing on October 12th. It'll be 9 years that we had our homeless shelter open. And
Wow.
You can't stop the veteran homeless problem. You can't fix it if you can't stop the revolving door. And so once you get them housed, they got to be able to stay housed, and that's where success will come. And we've done a good job of helping at those two topics. And anyway, so that's the goal, is to fix the homeless and the suicide problems with a collective impact approach of managing health, helping rebuild relationships, getting them up and moving again, and finding ways to offset the financial problems. And that was probably a longer answer than you wanted.
No, that's great. I mean, that's incredible. Those the success rates that you're having, and just the difference in the impact that you're making. Because like you said, you didn't really necessarily start off looking to do this type of work, and it kind of, people, like you said, started showing up on your door. How did you develop those systems or processes to really help
Well, the
people to
claims
get those results?
piece, the claims piece was where it all started, because I had to learn the process for myself. And I was volunteering in a food pantry, and a lot of the men in the line were veterans. A lot of the women, the man they had at home was a veteran. Some of the women in the line were veterans, and I started helping them with claims paperwork. Because invariably I was finding they had illness and injury problems that were the reason they were in my food pantry line.
Yeah.
And then the demographic, right? The next thing you know, the other volunteers are the ones showing up at my door with hey, you got to help Bob.
Right.
Pocket knife. What does he want me to do for Bob? Well, Bob lives under the bridge. You got to help him. Why do you want me to help him? What am I going to do? Lisa, that's why you're going to help him. Okay. And how do you? I didn't even know what to say the first time, and I'd never helped a homeless person. I didn't know what to do with them.
Yeah,
and,
right.
And I said, well, come back and see me in the morning. I'll see what I can do. I don't know what I can do, but I'll try something. Let's see what we can figure out. And that turned into me doing referrals to agency that did housing, or finding them, taking them and to homeless shelters and working to get them in. And I learned some lessons there that I thought we could do better at that as a group, and as a people, as a town. And I started explaining to some of the local politicians what was going on. They didn't believe me, so I took them on tours of homeless camps, and they became our biggest advocates. They got us the money to buy a homeless shelter, and which got us a lot of press. And then people started. We got more volunteers, and we were able to grow and help more people, and it started a cascading effect, if you will.
Yeah.
And so I get to be the messenger. Is a lot of what I get to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, who I always like to ask, who have been some of the people in your life that have impacted you, maybe even very similar to how you're working and helping people with what you do every day, and what are some of the characteristics from those leaders that really
Dan Hendricks, and first on Leon Guerrero, my squad leader in the Ranger Battalion, Dan Hendricks, and LG. Nope, if I'm gonna expect it from you, I'm gonna do it myself. And LG. The first one used to low crawl to the front of our formation if he was late a minute.
Yeah, I love it.
And I bet I'm going to hold you to that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And that has stuck with me. That has stuck with me for a long time. I still go right into the homeless camps with people.
Yeah.
And Dan Hendricks. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I don't chase women. I get high on PT, and you're going to get high with me every morning. You better keep up. Dan Hendricks.
That's incredible.
And he was a hard go get 'em Northern California lumberjack that just had a way about him. And the two of them, those two in particular, over time, taught me a lot of things I probably should have learned when I was 10 or 12.
Sure.
And, that nobody ever taught me, just about being a man and establishing yourself and behaving in ways that people respected, and because I was a little footloose and wild when I was a kid, and riding skateboards and running around at night and drinking, and it was good for me. It was good for me, and so I'm grateful for the role models I had, and there were others. Daddy Klein, Platoon Sergeant Klein, the Mug Tribble, Ranger Birch. There was a handful of guys that most of that list is in the Ranger Hall of Fame.
Sure.
One is in the Ranger Hall of Fame now. And anyway, they taught me a lot. And then my first company, Sergeant Major in Special Forces, Jacob Vinko, Morsi, he's a Ranger Hall of Fame guy too, from his MACV days. Got him in there, and Sante Raider. But a lot of good role models, and I was fortunate to have them.
Man, yeah. I mean, it's so important to have those people in your life, for sure, to help you to get where you are today. What how did you decide to join the military? Was that something that you always grew up wanting to do, or what was there a story there?
Funny, all through, well, from like middle school on, I always said I was going to be a Marine. And
Okay. Oh yeah.
yep, I'm going to be a Marine. I'm going to be a Marine. And I go to college, and for whatever reason, I kind of put that on the back burner. And then they take our hostages in Iran, and I think, oh, it's time for me. I'm dropping out of college. I'm going down. I'm going to join to be a Marine. And I went down to the Marine Corps recruiter, and you get you could describe him as a body part where you put toilet paper. And,
Yeah.
and so I went and started talking to the other services. Didn't really have a preference, and my father was getting all wound up. You better go talk to the Air Force. I don't want you in the Marine Corps. I don't. And I went into the Army recruiter and went, I want to go to the war. If we're going to go fight the Iranians, I want to go to the war. I want to, what's the fastest way? And he goes, oh, that's special forces or Rangers. And so I go down to the recruiting station thinking I'm signing up to be special forces or a Ranger. And those aren't options. They say they don't have any availability. And the guys, I say, well, then what's the fastest way to the war? And he gives me two choices: to be a tanker in the 82nd or a infantryman in the 82nd. And I took infantryman in the 82nd. I couldn't see jumping out of a plane with a tank. Seemed kind of odd to me.
Yeah.
No. And he said, yep. And then once you're airborne, the Army will let you do whatever you want. So you can go do those other things as soon as. And I was in the 80, I got in the 82nd, 4th of July weekend, graduating high school in 1981, and was clearing out processing in September. I wasn't there.
Okay.
I wasn't there any time at all. And I volunteered. They came around recruiting for people to go to the Ranger Battalion. This is before the regiment. There was 2 independent battalions, and the 2nd battalion was there recruiting. And I did my PT test and my interviews, and they said, okay, sign here. I signed, and off I went. I started RIP in October in 1981, and I got there late September. So I might have started in the last few days of September. I remember the C-130 crashed while I was there in RIP.
Wow.
And the battalion commander was killed, and some other people. But one of my first days in battalion, I was holding a flag for the memorial service. I remember. So
oh wow.
Yeah. So I did a couple of years there, and then went to Special Forces. I was in the Q course. I just started the Q course when they jumped into Grenada. I was pretty disappointed. And my platoon medic was killed. My old roommate, Phil Grenier, was killed. And Sergeant Slater, who used to make me do push-ups when I was a private, was killed. I didn't know him well, other than to say yes, Sergeant, no, Sergeant.
Yeah.
And he was from 1st platoon. The other 2 were from my platoon. And but yeah. And then 23 years, 9 months later, in Special Forces, I retired.
Yeah.
So,
wow. What a heck of a career.
Yeah.
So what's Valor Clinic Foundation, right? What prompted the name for that?
I did a study for somebody on bringing health clinics to Pennsylvania, and they were gonna bring a small VA clinic down the road. They asked me to do. They found out I used to be an 18 Fox, and asked me to do the study for what they should propose to the VA for the clinic to include.
Okay.
And I did the study. I went, hey, this is what it should be, and you probably need a retreat facility, and you've got a housing problem for veterans. You're going to need some of that. And Valor is Veterans Assisted Living Outreach. You're going to need to go out and find the place. It's an acronym. And so that's where it came from. And then I turned it over to some other people, and the guy kind of took the train off the rails and gave up on it. The VA made a clinic that was just a primary care clinic. You go get your prescription refilled and see your primary care doctor. And so I was kind of wasting my time. And then at least I felt like I wasted my time.
Yeah.
And then this thing, and I do that in 2008 into 2009, brief all their architects, their engineers, everybody, hey, here's your options, how to do it, blah, 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 blah. And then go about my business back to the food pantry. I'm doing claims, I'm doing this thing and the other thing. when I learned they gave up on it, I went back to them, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And I told them to stay out of my way. I'm
Yeah.
taking it over. Get out of my way. I'll handle it from here.
Gotcha.
And
Yeah.
started reaching out and putting together a board of directors. And here we are. I was doing the math the other day. We just cleared the threshold on giving away 1 million meals over the
Oh,
time.
really?
That's a lot of food.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's a lot of food. And
Yeah.
over the course, obviously over the course of years, but it's not like we
Yeah.
give them in one day. But it's
Yeah. That's incredible.
It's been a thing.
What are some ways that people can, help out if they're looking to, help out and help save the cost?
There's never the escaping of volunteers. We live and die on
Yeah.
volunteers, and
Yeah.
we have a team growing strong outside of Newark, Ohio. If anybody were so inclined, we could put them in touch with them. They could message us through our Valor Facebook page, keyword Valor Clinic,
Okay.
and on Facebook. We need a bunch of volunteers here in Pennsylvania. We have some things starting in Sussex County, New Jersey, and we've been doing food delivery at the holidays, and that's in New Jersey for some time. We're going to be looking for a lot of help in Sussex County, New Jersey, and we have a psychologist currently learning our retreat program that wants to open it in Idaho. Not far off the Utah border. We'll be looking for some people out there pretty soon too.
Okay.
And we have a proposed partnership with an organization to train, I mentioned earlier, digital equipment installation to veterans that are having trouble finding work. And we're going to need to get a decent sized piece of land for that. And money is always the catalyst to progress when it comes to organizational growth. And so anything anybody wanted to donate, we'd be grateful. But those are the main ways, unless you're General Motors and want to give us a van or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
you never know unless you ask.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's the big thing that you're working on right now? Even through the end of this year. That's kind of a focus.
We're trying to build up PTSD lodges and dorms, and we're a little hung up with the Department of Environmental Protection. So we're scoping out, trying to buy the Boy Scout camp across the street from our homeless shelter, because it's already got the buildings and everything on it. And crossing our fingers it works out. There's some stiff competition for it, and we're trying to make a partnership with one of the companies that wants to buy it to give back to the community. And we're hoping maybe we can be their community choice.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. What as we wrap this up, I usually ask maybe for some general pieces of advice to people listening to help move their life forward, but maybe a little bit more specifically for the listener that might be, have somebody close to home or somebody that really know that fits the person that you guys are typically helping, that's struggling, that's a veteran, that might be homeless or addiction. What are some things they could do to help?
I'll try to the people. If you're the leadership piece, people are always more important than process. So try to work your process with your people in their comfort mechanisms, the way they think, and guide outcomes with the people first instead of the process first. When you lose the people, you lose the mojo, and it's a whole lot harder to do. Is where I would have gone on that one. Yep. And but to the point, we have a code for our veterans when we try to get them to reintegrate society, and one of the bullets for life guide is, remember, people are more important than process. But vets have a different version of normal than the rest of us, and sometimes in our subconscious it's rolling like the DOS behind the windows kind of thing. And and part of it is, we make no mistakes, people die. And so people in process, right? Is where we're going here, because the vets often don't overlook little things that one of the big ones I hear all the time is they have big blowups in the house over dishes, right?
Okay.
nobody's going to die if the dish doesn't get washed.
Yeah, right.
No,
Yeah.
our default setting is we think asymmetric, all these things at once, keep them all, think the up order for a young buck sergeant or a platoon leader, running patrols through Baghdad, right? How many things are they juggling all the time? And they come
Yeah.
back, well, hey, I could do all this.
Yeah.
Why can't you wash a dish, right?
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's gender neutral. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
the women come back and do it to male civilian
Right.
female vets, do it to male civilian spouses, and the other way around, boyfriend, girlfriend, other
Yeah.
equivalents.
Yeah.
And it is a trend, and we collapse relationships faster than civilians traditionally do.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is our cultural norms. We can't let go of that on-the-spot correction. We feel like we got to square everybody away that's not doing as good as we think they should. You're laughing, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And we can't overlook little things to the point it puts a lot of arguing and frustration in our life.
Mm.
And so to the vets, I would say, hey, who's the most important person in the world to you? Make sure they know it.
Yeah.
And overlook the little stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to die or get hurt if they don't wash the dish or the kids don't pick the toy
Yeah.
up. When you're asking yourself, I don't understand why I did so well in war, and I come home and everybody's afraid of me. The woman I love more than anybody else we do is fight. My kids are scared of me and I don't get it. It's those two things. We ride them and ride them and ride them and don't know, thinking we're making things better, and we don't give people a chance to learn, or that they don't, because we want results right now.
Yeah. Right.
And they don't understand that the culture is different enough where that's not so essential.
Right.
We're
Yeah.
not going to have a mistake where the claymore doesn't fire right and somebody gets killed. We're not going to have a situation where we overlook something and we're going to take enemy fire, or we're going to miss the roadside bomb. That's not what's going on at home. What's going on at home is it's the core of what your life is going to be as a civilian, with the most important people living the life that you fought to protect.
Yeah. Right.
You don't bring the war
Wow.
in your house, man.
Yeah.
Don't bring
Yeah.
the war in your house. And it's okay if people make mistakes, and you don't have to square everybody away. And if we get past those two things, we have them use the book, The Four Agreements, to help as don't take it personal. Do your best, make no assumptions, and be impeccable with your word. If you do those things as guides out here, to replace we make no mistakes, people die, and on the spot corrections, you can take a lot of the strife out of your life. And if you are a spouse or a significant other or child, and you're dealing with that from your partner, look back at them when they're getting that way and say, hey, look, nobody's going to die if we don't do that.
Yeah.
Let's do something we like. And people, the process.
I love it. That's
important.
That's beautiful.
And,
yeah.
So, but that's what I would offer. I hope it. It's
that's powerful. I think, for everyone, and especially for, like you said, veterans. So so the best way, again, Facebook, Valor Clinic, you have a website as well?
Yep. Our website is www.valorclinic.org. And on Facebook, the keyword is Valor Clinic. And Instagram, I think, is, I forget if it's Full Valor Clinic Foundation or Valor Clinic. And we don't do much on Twitter. We kind of, not that we didn't set one up, we just, everything seems to go through the Facebook page, goes out to Instagram and stuff. But I hope I was a good teammate, and that I didn't try to square you away or
no, this is great. This is awesome. Incredible. And please do, if you feel called to help out, or in any way volunteer or through donations, please do so. Mark's an incredible man, an incredible mission, and a very important one as well. So appreciate you being here, Mark, and look forward to continuing to stay connected and help out any way we can. And if you're a listener here, don't go anywhere. We got another episode coming up with incredible guests just like Mark. So thanks for your time.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely.